What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris. Welcome back to Game Chat. Today, I'm here with, of course, Declan Demetrius Dequavius the third. Fired up, pow.
Just had a fuck off phone call with YK for an hour. He said, martial art, my brother, you deserve this, now it's in your power. It weren't that long ago when I had no hot water, I couldn't use my shower. So I don't know why the fuck, man, I'm making rumors up, he looks sour.
Okay, so today we are here with 5 trades that need to happen that will shake up the NBA. Now, we're only a few months into the season, but I've got 2 trades. Chris has 3. 5 just looks better in the title, to be honest with you.
Get it, Mac.
Now, before we actually get into the video, there will be a timestamp on the screen if you want to skip to that point in time. But we need to explain what's happening. Please like the video and subscribe. Like, I'm actually begging you. Like, you can literally Photoshop me. Like,
please.
Yeah. Me and Chris have been trying to record for, I would like to say, 2 hours. So, you're going to start off with your first trade. What is your first trade?
My first trade. This one I might get a lot of hate or a lot of love for.
You seem to say that a lot.
It's something that's been rumored on like NBA social media where it's like, oh my god, look at these two, look at how like happy they make each other. It's Karl Anthony Towns to the Clippers.
That's been rumored a lot recently, actually.
This trade though is not what the rumor was. This trade is Kawhi Leonard being that missing piece in Minnesota, and Karl Anthony Towns being that missing piece for Paul George. He already has guys. He has 8 double-digit scores, including himself. One player averaging 20 in Reggie Jackson.
Detroit
exact
baller.
trade also added another potential 20-point per game scorer who's had a rough start to this season. Malik Beasley, Karl Anthony Towns, a top 5 protected 2022 Timberwolves first-round pick in exchange for Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, who is in the G League, so we can regrow his skills and stuff right now, and Isaiah Hartenstein. What do you think?
Damn. Okay, so Serge and Kawhi, so the 2 Toronto Demons for Cat and Malik Beasley. Now, I like this
top 5 protected first round pick. Which, looking at the standings right now, the Timberwolves, if they added Kawhi to this team, they definitely jump up to a playoff team.
Oh, so if it happened right now, they're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I like it because you're getting a top 10 player in the league in Kawhi at the 3 spot or even the 4. It depends where you want to put him. Fantastic defender. Although I feel like his defense has been getting a little overrated recently because he's not as fast as he was. But Serge Ibaka at the 5, I like that because he stretches the floor a lot. You're not losing a ton of perimeter shooting, although you're losing like a top 5 big 3-point shooter of all time.
Top 3. Top 3, all time.
But you're adding Serge Ibaka, who isn't that bad shooting from behind the arc.
No, not at all.
You're moving on from Malik Beasley, who has some off-court issues as well. So that trade. So my first trade, it's going to be involving. This is a big one. It's involving the Raptors and the Blazers. Now, last year these guys made a trade, Norman Powell and Gary Trent. I remember that was like a last-minute thing. That was a last-minute thing. And I remember I ran downstairs and I'm like, Dad, this is a steal. They signed for the same contract.
We were freaking out. Everyone was calling it a robbery for the Blazers, but this is an absolute steal of a trade.
Oh, buddy, I was freaking out. But so my trade is the Raptors are sending to the Blazers Goran Dragic, Chris Boucher, and Malachi Flynn for Yusuf Nurkic and Robert Covington. Now, let me explain why, okay? Now, on the talk show, unfortunately, it got like corrupted, but I was talking about how the Raptors need a bruiser in the post, not someone like Precious who's shooting 35 from the field and shooting 53 from the line. I'm talking a bruiser, Yusuf Nurkic. He's the main piece of this trade. And the thing is, he's not staying in Portland if Dame doesn't. He said this last year, and I think that kind of shook up the locker room because if you're just staying because one player, I think that gets the locker room a little mad. Let's hear what you have to say.
I just want to mention this. Does Nurkic seem like the type of guy to want to play in Toronto?
He's an overseas guy, and
I'm getting a Hito Turkoglu vibe where he's going for the
and he's wasn't he terrible with the Raptors?
Yeah, because he didn't play. He never showed up to practice. He's at a nightclub.
And Nurkic is a Siberian guy, so Siberia and Canada.
He's from Siberia?
We're moving on. The main two pieces that the Raptors are sending over are Chris Boucher and Malachi Flynn. Boucher, he literally played college in Oregon. Portland's in Oregon. I'm smarter than most Americans, so there's a connection there. I think that Portland would be smart putting Chris Boucher at the 3 because he's too lanky to play a 4. Or
Actually,
a 5.
yes, 100%. Yep.
Now Malachi Flynn, he came out of college as a senior. And Damian Lillard did the same thing. Now, they've already got a connection there, and he could follow in Dame's footsteps to be the next point guard if Damian Lillard really wants to leave. And Malachi Flynn shows fantastic potential. To finish off, the trade is Goran Dragic, Chris Boucher, Malachi Flynn for Robert Covington and Yusuf Nurkic. How do you feel about that?
I really like it for Toronto, and I kind of am intrigued by the Chris Boucher at small forward idea.
Yeah, and he's got that Portland connection with the college.
He has the KD build too, so it's like
he's Slenderman. I feel like teams need to start experimenting with that more.
So we have Portland and Charlotte here. I was gonna say the Hornets, Charlotte and Portland here. This trade is basically centered around It's kind of a bad trade now that I kind of look at it deeper, but hear me out, okay? So we know Terry Rozier just signed his extension, but how many years is that extension until he gets traded?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, they've got LaMelo Ball as a sleeper MVP candidate. I think he'll be traded within the before his contract expires.
Okay. All right. Worst case, I don't think Terry's big enough of a doucher to be like, I'm not coming off the bench for anybody.
Yeah.
So this trade is sending a veteran, a player who's been in the playoffs multiple times, knows his way around the playoffs, can be a clutch guy. I'm not saying Gordon Hayward isn't going to be that, but so this trade is centered around CJ McCollum going to Charlotte, which I've been a fan of since they drafted LaMelo Ball, a good off-ball scorer who can do everything, doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective on the offensive end. And they are getting potentially their franchise big man and Yusuf Nurkic and CJ
I like it. So we both have Nurkic getting moved.
Wait, listen to this. Then Portland. I like this package so much for them. They're getting a playmaking wing in Gordon Hayward. Kelly Oubre, who is a Portland guy to me. He's just a Portland guy to me. Kai Jones.
I forgot about him.
And then a first-round pick in this year's draft, unprotected. So this is kind of a thing for Portland where it's like, okay, we're gonna go out. We're gonna get some value back for an expiring contract in Yusuf Nurkic by getting Kelly Oubre. He's on a 2-year deal. He can be a clamper for us. He can possibly be our 4. Then you're getting Gordon Hayward, who in my opinion is perfect next to Dame.
Yeah.
Or in the same area as Dame, because similar to Ben Simmons, he's going to play make the hell out. The final trade is Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, Kai Jones, and a 2022 unprotected Hornets first-round pick to the Blazers for CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, and CJ Albi.
That's a blockbuster. That's a
blockbuster. I have another. All my trades are kind of blockbuster ones.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So this is a blockbuster, I think. So this is my final.
Well, that's the whole point. They're supposed to shake up the league. This
is something that I've never seen before. Okay. And I was talking about this. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I was talking about this on the talk show. Now, this trade involves the Hawks and the 76ers, okay? Now, the Hawks are giving up Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeLon Wright, Cam Reddish, and a first-round pick in 2023 for Shake Milton and Ben Simmons. Okay. Now,
that's not enough value for a 3-time All-Star.
Listen. Ben Simmons has not played a game for the Sixers.
At least throw in DeAndre Hunter.
No, he hasn't played a game for the Sixers all season, okay? You are giving up Ben Simmons. You're giving up Ben Simmons, who will play the 4 beside Capella. You might move him to the 3 beside John Collins, whatever. You can flip-flop it. He adds
There's
great
no
defense
space
and
on it.
subtracts the lack of playmaking that the Hawks have. They've got a big turnover guy in Trae Young, although he's second in assists this year. But the only problem would be in a few years would be the money, okay? Because they're going to have to extend, or they might have already extended Hunter. Did they extend? No, they're going to have to extend Hunter, but
No, they're not. They'll trade his ass.
they're going to trade Hunter, you think?
Gallinari for $20 million. That's
Yeah, okay. Then Shake Milton's kind of a throw-in because he's going to be a microwave off the bench that kind of brings some defense. But I like this for the Sixers.
Milton has been so bad.
Let me finish. Now I like this for the Sixers, okay? Because they got Bogdan, who's a shooter and a microwave off the bench. The contract's a bit of an issue, $18 million over 3 years. But then they get DeLon Wright, who can step it up and be a fringe starting point guard until Tyrese Maxey is ready for the next step. Although I do think Tyrese is ready for that next step right now. But Cam Reddish is the main piece of this trade. Now, he's a boom or bust type of player, and we've known this since he got drafted. But he's basically the main piece that could be that 3. Or, wait, they can put him on the bench as their 6th man until Tobias Harris leaves, or maybe Cam Reddish takes that step and they try and trade Tobias Harris.
On my final trade, it's a Raptors trade. It's a pretty big one. Raptors Mavericks. So
Doncic?
my thoughts with this trade are what Declan, tell me what Luka Doncic needs.
Luka Doncic. He needs everything. The Mavericks are not a good team, and
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this trade.
he needs Goran Dragic. That's what he needs.
Wait. So that's the thing. He needs a secondary ball handler. He needs
Yes.
more scoring, and
He needs another foreign languager.
And he needs forward depth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this trade is sending Goran what do the Raptors need?
The Raptors need a big forward, a big center, someone that can bruise around.
Okay, maybe you're not gonna like this trade then.
Let's hear it out.
The Raptors will be receiving Trey Burke and Kristaps Porzingis for Goran Dragic, Red Van Fleet, Chris Boucher, in his second round pick.
I don't like any of those 3 players, baby.
Yeah, so listen to how good this sounds, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So Leno Banton at the 1, or Trey Burke. Then you have Scotty at the 2, OG at the 3, Pascal not at the 4, but at the 5, and then Kristaps Porzingis at the 4, baby.
This makes them a lot better because, listen, Toronto did this back in like 2012, okay? They had a young blossoming star in Rudy Gay. Young blossoming star. And like 25 games into the season, they were at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They traded Rudy Gay, okay, for Patrick Patterson, Solomon or whatever his name is. I can't remember. A bunch of nobodies, okay? A bunch of nobodies. Patrick Patterson was the main headliner in that trade. And they made it to the playoffs. Game 7 against the Brooklyn Nets. I remember this vividly. Terrence Ross comes down the court. Big steal.
That makes no sense. It doesn't have to do with the trade.
Dunks. He throws it down. I'm at the Science Center. He throws it down. Tie game. But then the Nets come up behind. Paul Pierce,
game winner on that ass.